last time I'm looking at all y'all, since we've established that.
Oh, y'all.
When was the last time you wanted to say something better? Meaning you were somewhere, you were on a call, you were on the screen, and you're in that moment of, gosh, how do I either say that thing, or it's after that moment. I hope I'm not the only one that's ever said, oh, I should have said, I wish I would have. That kind of feeling. Anybody else ever feel that way? Yeah, right? Today on The Juice, we've got one of the best people to teach us how to say something better, because the intention is great, right? Like, all y'all are very well intended. Truly, you're out there to serve, you're taking great care of people, wanting to be mindful but not analyzing your words to death. Lila is a seasoned pro. In fact, she was in the theater for 10 years, I think, a decade or more. So she is the singing, dancing, say things better pro, and she's going to teach us 3 ways to say things better, to connect better, because you're on the Connecting Juice. This is all about human connection, creating and developing relationships that matter. I'm Ginger, your host. I teach master classes. I work with teams in helping them learn how to say things better, because I get to hang out with great people like Lila. So Lila, let's jump right in. First of all, give us a short story of how Say Things Better came to be.
Oh gosh, I would love to start with like a short, funny story.
Please.
But the truth is that I was in this heartbreaking relationship where I had all of these incredible dreams and goals for myself. And when I would share them, I would get responses like, you know that that's not realistic though, right? Or like, but we need to make money. We live in New York. And it's just something that was like very like intended to ground me. And what I felt was like skewered and destroyed, and that was the impact. Even if the intention was to ground, I felt that it was to eviscerate. That was the impact on me. And I would call him out and say, you know, I'm a dreamer. I'm a creative person. I'm meant to be unfettered and to change the world and to whatever I felt like doing. And that's me. And not a lot of people have this thing. And this is special. And you're squashing me, man. And he would say, well, it wasn't my intention to upset you. So chill, right?
Oh, so then all of a sudden becomes your problem.
Oh, because it wasn't his intention. So I wasn't entitled to my feelings of the impact. Anybody else ever hear somebody say it wasn't my intention to
I didn't mean
that
that.
Ended up happening?
Don't
right?
take it that way. There's probably a few ways to take that, eh?
Yeah, sure. And like, but mine is the one that I'm experiencing. And I come from the theater where actors go on stage having done months of preparation of reading the script and setting our intentions and rehearsing and trying things and deciding exactly what we want to do to the other person on stage. And in fact, we use verbs in our minds to guide our communication on stage. And say, when I talk to this other character and I want to get my way, let's say like my question is, can I go out tonight? And I'm a kid asking my mother, my question is, can I go out tonight? My objective is obviously to go out tonight. I decide that ahead of time. And then I try different tactics, different actions, verbs as I communicate to whoever it is playing my mother. So if I'm trying with just the words in the script, can I go out tonight? And my first intention is to endear, right? Like that might work with my mom. Like, can I go out tonight? And then I get the no. I might try a different tactic. Same lines, different approach.
Okay. So the verbing is putting the inflection, the tone, not the words, but how you're saying things better.
It's why you're saying things. The tone, all of the stuff that happens on your face, so facial expressions and body language, those are results, not intentions.
Whoa, wait a minute. Say that again. That's so good, Lila. Say that again. Well,
those are results, not intentions. The way that your face looks when you say something is the result of what you intend to do as you're saying it.
Wow. That's fantastic. I'm going to say that's huge nugget number one. So the result.
That's a nugget.
Oh, that's a gold nugget, my friends. Lila Smith here today with us on the Connecting Juice. I'm Ginger, your host. I teach people how and why to connect on purpose with purpose. Lila is a fantastic friend, colleague, and expert in teaching people how to say things better. So she's already dropped one nugget. Refresh the nugget.
Refresh. So last nugget was that when you try to do things like make your body language look like what you think somebody else wants to see from you, it's taking you out of the moment of what you actually want to do to them. It's taking you out of your intentions and into your appearance. So we are taking off forevermore the pressure to have certain body language or a certain facial expression, and instead focusing on what we want to do with our communication. I see Ann Neville in the room, who's attended one of my Verb Your Values workshops herself before. Verb Your Values is about finding the things that are true to you, what you want to make someone feel, and then picking the verbs that go along with that.
So good. Excellent.
It's maybe one of yours, Ginger.
Yes, well, Anne is a stalwart. She's a friend and wonderful person all around. All y'all, so glad you're here. Thank you, Steph Hendrickson. I see you. Fantastic to see you. All of you. This is fantastic. I really appreciate it. Oh, Becky Simpson just showed up. Hey, Becky, good to see you again. Lila, your website is what, saythingsbetter.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we got the first nugget. Let's go with the second nugget. How does learning how to say things better help you better connect? What's the second one, Lila?
Second thing is that if you are trying to connect to the wrong people, you will never say the right thing.
Oh,
right?
Wait a minute. That seems so obvious.
It seems so obvious, but how many times have you stood in front of someone and thought like, oh God, I can't wait to get out of this conversation. If only there were a hook, like those clown hooks that take you off stage, but like they would take that person off stage. No, come back. I'm not done juicing you, right? Like I want Ginger here and I want the haters out. If I'm constantly trying to please those people, I am missing the connection with Ginger, who I want here.
Right.
So we are to stop seeking approval and start seeking approvers. Nugget, drop.
Ooh, stop seeking approval, start seeking approvers. And there's a lot to that because we want to make sure we're with our right people. And for the record, Lila's not saying that this is a judgment. She's saying it's a choice. There's a difference between a choice and a judgment. Absolutely. Oh, this is so good, Lila.
Yeah, someone can be awesome and someone else might really enjoy talking to them. And they can go and find that person.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we got 2 great nuggets already. I bet we're going to go more than 3 today. What's another one, Lila?
Oh, okay. Another way to say things better is to prepare. So when you have high stakes communication events, like a phone call or an email or a presentation or whatever it is, instead of putting yourself in a position where you feel stressed about it, just do a little bit of preparation. You'll want to know, like, number one, what's at stake for you if you do or don't communicate effectively. That keeps you in the moment and keeps you accountable to being a good person. So when somebody else triggers you, you can like remind yourself.
Yes, so right now, she's going to keep going with this, but what I want you to do is if you have paper and pencil, which I think a lot of you do, or pen, whatever, write down one thing in front of you that's at stake for you right now for one of your next conversations. And it doesn't have to be life-shattering, of course, but what's one thing at stake? I'd like S-T-A-K.
Yes, S-T-A-K. It might be a stake that is at stake. It depends on if you're communicating with a waiter at Morton's, you know, it might be that the steak is at stake.
Right.
But the biggest stakes first.
Right. Then what?
For you might be, and raise your hand if this is the case for you. I want to be a good provider for my family. And this next communication event, like might be, so a lot of people, so let's just use that. I want to be a good provider for my family. I want them to be able to count on me. So when you're talking to a difficult client or a boss or a whoever, a person who could help you to do that thing, good to keep that in mind, right? Because they could be terrible and you're going to still have to deal with them. Step number 2 as part of preparation is setting your objective. What's the yes that you want to get out of this one thing, this one conversation? What's your objective? What's the yes you want to get? I love that, Lila. Lila, have you already read the book, Never Split the Difference? Yes. Okay. All y'all, Larry, if you put this in the chat, please. The book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss is exactly supporting what Lila's saying. You want to get to yes, but that book, Getting to Yes, is different. Never Split the Difference focuses on getting the no's first
so you know what the yes is going to be. And that's part of what she's teaching us with preparing to say things better. What's at stake? What's your objective? Keep rolling, Lila.
What's theirs? What's the yes they want to get? You're not the only one on stage. And when you're acting and you're in a play, you are relentlessly pursuing your character's objective because that is what you've been hired to do. And in fact, it's your job to pursue only your character's objective. And the result is dramatic conflict, the thing that's interesting to watch, that you're like, oh, what's going to happen? The actual opposite of the thing that you want to have happen in real life. So I've deconstructed dramatic conflict and re-engineered dramatic confluence by considering not just your own objective, but your communication partners as well.
All on the juice today, y'all. This is great. Lila Smith, Say Things Better, teaching us how to do this. She's a seasoned theater pro. She has her own company, Saying Things Better. If you know somebody who can use Lila's workshops and so forth, please keep her top of mind. Please share her forward. The whole point of Juice here is to share. And so you see somebody cool on this screen today too, like burn up the chat. Find out, like, Rob Hill, where the heck are you? What do you do? Like, go ahead. In fact, and if you're comfortable, if you have a website, your business, go ahead and put that in the chat, my friends. That's a bonus of this juice, is that we want to know. We got economic development with Lisa Hurley from York, Nebraska. Lisa, I love you. It's so good to see you. Jim Spencer, first time here. So glad to see you, man. In the beverage industry, like, all of you have remarkable things to share. And so if you want to, please do. I'm not going to be the one to say, don't put your contact information or your business in there. I'm going to be the one to say, you know, do that. And then let us know if there's something you're looking for, because we can help each other as it works and as it's comfortable. Lila and I met through LinkedIn. And I was part of her live Shakespeare sonnet marathon. Was that in March, Lila?
It was April 23rd, which I only know because it was Shakespeare's birthday.
Yeah, so proof positive that when you show up in some formats and you're like, God, this Lila seems like an interesting person, and she responded back and one thing led to another, and it's so magic to connect. And we're lucky to have her today because she's helping us deconstruct what it means to say things better and what the impacts are. So we've got the three. We've got know your objective, prepare.
Your motivation first, right? What's at stake?
Right. The
motivation, objective, communication partner's objective.
Right. Then what?
Then I would like to ask Lisa Hurley at YCDC Lisa Hurley to please unmute yourself. Is YCDC a company?
It is. It's York County Development Corporation.
York County Development Corporation. I bet you have a lot of good stuff in your toolbox that helps you to help the people that you serve, right?
I do.
That's lucky. And I knew it, or else you wouldn't be like proudly emblazoning it on your Zoom name. So the next step is your toolbox. It's picking the things that you have to pull from that uniquely position you more than anyone else to help your communication partner receive the kind of value that you give. So what do you do there at YCDC?
I'm the economic developer for the county. So I work with businesses. I market the county to potential businesses and potential talent. We work on housing. I help with expansions, and sometimes I have to get into the zoning changes because a business coming in needs a change on the regulations from the city side.
Okay, let's use that as an example. Perfect. That's their objective, right? To get it, they want a yes from the city. You want a yes from them. Tabling your objective, your what you want from them for now. Look in your toolbox and tell me, what do you have in your toolbox that can help you to help them with their zoning city thing?
My relationships with the city.
Great. Come armed with those to your next conversation. Be prepared, and you say like, okay, if this business needs this thing, I'm going to go and like, before I even have that conversation, I'm going to warm up those relationships. I'm just going to go and like their stuff on social media or send an email like, hey, Ann, how you doing? I was thinking about you because, right? You're just going to warm them up so that when you have to come back, hey, I just had this phone call. It's not, I'm coming at you just because I need this thing right now, but you are reminded by the other connections in your life to go and warm up the rest of your connections and keep them that way. So using what you can do to help others as just a reminder to stay connected in your network as a way to keep that toolbox full so that when it's time, you know exactly who to go to. Your toolbox are those relationships, the things that you know, the reasons why someone will trust you. Could be a degree, could be experience of yours. It could be an experience that people have of you. For me, my energy is in my toolbox. People want this from me because they're not getting this same energy from other people. And same with you, right, Ginger? Like your juice is one of the reasons people gather around you and squeeze.
All right, I'm expecting big hugs, y'all, when we're in the room together.
Yes. Oh, someday may we please be in a room.
Yes, we will. We will. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. Lila, that's a great example. Who else would like to have Lila's expertise to run through their toolbox? If you want to have if you have a question for her, go ahead and unmute yourself to start talking. We're wide open on this one. And Lila, are there other steps with that sequence?
Just the one more, and it's verb your values. Anne, do you want to play the game and model it for others?
I can try.
Because you're so seasoned now. She's been to one of these
Exactly.
workshops, verb your values. And one of the things that we do is play a game. We pick a line. And so in our workshop, I think we used, I brought you a taco as the line, right? So the only words that you're allowed to say, Anne, are I brought you a taco. But I need you to set your intention to energize me. I mean, I'm already energized, but like, let's just pretend I'm not, right?
More juice,
I'll try to look not energized. And
I brought you a taco.
Oh, you did? Awesome.
I did.
You know? Okay, and now I'm coming in and I'm like so sad, and I need you to just set your intention to comfort me. Same words, to comfort.
I brought you a taco.
And that's it. That's verb your values. You decide what intentions you want. What is true to you? How do you want to make someone feel? The voice comes after. It just happens. Because you know how to comfort someone and you know how to energize someone, or certainly Anne does. So thank you for sharing and playing.
I think Anne could hit and you're on the taco circuit. Like anybody know a sponsor for this?
I've got this line down.
Taco circuit.
And now I'm hungry for a taco. Anybody else? Right?
Yeah, always.
That's right.
Always. So that's it. That's verb your values. It's how you want to make someone feel. The rest of the preparation is about the content of what you say. Verb your values is about the intent. It's here's all the stuff that I'm going to load into my arrow. But before I fire it, I'm deciding, like, am I a Pocahontas or am I Cupid? You know, like, what am I doing with my arrow here?
Nice.
And deciding what's true to you.
Let's talk a little bit about, and open forum, anybody have a question, unmute yourself and just ask. Lila, let's talk a little bit more about the content, because we did the taco exercise with Anne. Like, okay, so words are words and words are only words, and words are words. Words are still powerful. So would you unpack that a little bit for us to think about how we say things better to connect with people?
Yeah, I think if you are really scanning the content of what, let's say you're writing something, because it's much easier to do in writing than speaking, and which is how, like, follow up in an email following a spoken conversation is great, because all those things that you didn't say, then you can say them and they'll think you said them the whole time. Nobody like remembers ever all of the things that somebody else said, and they'll be like, if you reinforce a point that you didn't even make in a conversation, they'll assume you made it. So forgive yourself for conversations and missing things, and just invest in that follow-up with the content that you want to reinforce. Just be organized about that. But in the moment, you know, when you're not writing and you're talking to someone, if you are only thinking about the words that you're allowing out of your mouth, I want you to, like, mentally snip and cut and shred the words that do not align with your intended verbs. If you're using words that you think won't energize someone, but in fact will achieve the opposite, cut them out.
Give us an example.
Just as an example of a filler word that you can eliminate, if your intention is to guide, to lead, using words like, I'm just so sorry, but any apology words, cut them out. Your intention is not to apologize. Your intention is to lead.
I'm only a volunteer. That's another.
Only, great word to cut out. Forever. Who would ever need the word only?
Unless you're talking pricing, because then like my workshop is only $10,000. Oh, that's it? Yes.
No,
I'll
you know
take
what?
five.
My workshop is $10,000. The benefit of my workshop is not how inexpensive it is. Remove only. Strike it from your whole dictionary. It defies someone to give me an example of why only is a benefit.
Done.
Like really, I'm asking now, I'm asking open forum, like only, when do you think it's useful?
Okay, I'm done with only. I've broken up with it.
Okay.
Anybody
We're
else
done.
broken up with only right
Done.
now? Anybody? Like kick it.
I
That's
broke up.
right.
We broke up. And actually that just happened because I hadn't even thought about that word in such depth until you said it. And I was like, ugh. Because also I'm a person of great excess. So.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Excellent. What's another way? Thanks, Nancy, for the thumbs up. Nancy's liking that too. What?
Oh, good for you, Becky. Broke
Yeah.
up with Just. Good for you, Becky.
Excellent.
Becky knows her worth.
Let's. Becky is fantastic. Becky, unmute yourself and tell us the not so just story.
Ginger, you started it. I think it was one of your emails you sent. I can't remember. And I thought, well, I don't use Just very much. You know what? In the next 24 hours, I was like, just do this. Well, just do that. Or if you just, and I was like, and I was constantly having to delete and replace. And I was like, does it need replacement? It didn't. It was a filler, and I just continued the sentence without the just.
Just adjust in that sentence.
So
No, I love that.
I appreciate the awareness, and I will do the same with only.
Yeah, so will I now. I wonder how many times I've said only.
Thank
Really?
you, Becky, for telling us a not so just story. One of the ones I want to run by you here too, Lila, is I learned a long time ago from one of my mentors, Jack Anderson from Ace Hardware, to replace but with and it instantly changed my life. Would you like to take a bite of that? Would you like to squeeze that one?
Yes, let me squeeze it. It's so funny. Ed Arsinway, who's an exec over at Zoho Corporation, is one of my clients. I'm helping him with getting his voice out through Zoho and like on his own LinkedIn posts. And today's post was about his episode on my show last week, where we talked about the improvisational theater conceit. Yes, and the reason that you don't want to say but is because it's like those scissors, and what it does is it cuts out everything that someone else just said, and they feel those scissors like here, like ugh.
We
When
won't
you
have a
use
live
that.
death here. There's not.
Yeah. No, this is a prop. Do not try this at home
Blood
without
packets. I don't want
combat training, right? It's just like, and I happen to have like anything I could need within arm's length, like at any time. So that's also a tool from the theater. Be prepared for magic. And that addition of a prop, right? But is something we say because, but even, right? We put it in so often and it contradicts what we've just said. So it takes away all credibility from what we've just said, instead of having the confidence to simply introduce a new idea. And the yes is holding you accountable to acknowledging what someone else has said. Yes. You don't have to agree to say yes, by the way.
Oh, hang on. That's a bomb. You don't have to say yes to agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes is, yes, I heard you. Yes, I heard you. I feel that you said this. Is that accurate? And once you get your yes from them, yes, I got it. I got it. Here's what I get. Here's what I understand. And here's my solution. And here's my perspective.
So good.
Yes first, then and. And is how you build hope.
Yeah.
On the word but, when I realized that the word but nullifies what you just said and says, listen to what I'm going to say now. And
Yeah.
now I've changed how I use that phrase or try to get rid of it because I don't want to nullify what I just said. I want to add to it. It's not but, it changes what you just said. It means ignore what I just said, listen to what I'm saying now.
You're
Yes,
so
and
right.
what are you
Hope.
teaching people when you nullify what you've just said?
Yes,
you're
and
teaching
it's
them-
additive. Yes. What is subtractive? You're so right, Hope. It was great add-on for sure. Yes. Validate, don't nullify.
Yes.
Own your opinions. You've got them, and that's fine. We can present them respectfully, because just like Lila was teaching earlier, what's the intention? And then how do you say things better so that intention comes out authentically and accurately? Really, it seems like accuracy is a huge part of this, Lila.
We always pick the wrong words, don't we? I mean, I make the worst analogies. I say the worst things. Always getting it wrong, by the way. And yet, and because I was in theater, yet I think falls under but. So I'm going to just snip and edit.
Yep.
And so we're always doing these things where we say the wrong words, and we're always forgetting that we have more opportunities later to edit, to add. So if we just keep moving forward and just reinforcing I'm taking out just, and reinforcing the points that we want to make sure we get agreement on. And those points, if they fall under either thing I need a yes on or thing they need a yes on, then okay, reinforce. Otherwise, you're probably spending too much time mired on a point that doesn't matter, because it's neither about your yes or theirs.
Nice, nice. So know your yes. Who else has an example or a question for Lila today? Lila, you're on fire. This is fantastic. Thank you all for being here. Lila Smith, our special guest, saythingsbetter.com. She teaches people how to say things better. So when you know somebody who can use this, whether it's you or somebody, you got 3 great classes coming up, I believe.
I do. I just had 3 this week. And next month, I just put my dates in a note, so I'll find it. They are October, last week in October, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. It's Thursday night, the 29th. I'm doing a late night Verb Your Values workshop. So it'll be 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. Pacific. And the other 2 workshops that week are going to be account-based content marketing, how to make one post that gets you paid. And the other one is about commenting on social media. And as a way to position yourself and build relationships at the same time. A way to be on social media without posting all the time. It's just not for everyone, and it's not the only thing to do there.
Right, so, absolutely. And one thing
next month's thing.
One thing I really appreciate, one thing about Lila that maybe nobody knows, and I don't know if anybody looked up Lila before we had our episode today, is Lila is adding, and it's not noise. There's a difference between posting and just vomiting and being noisy. And for a while, that was the thing. Just post, just post, just post. No. That's the wrong ethos, my friends, because that's just crap. That's noise. That's pollution. If you are in business, if you are doing this personally and for whatever reason, pay attention to your intention, just like Lila's teaching us, because more is not better if it's not going to matter. Like, Mark, you know this, you're a poet. You don't just add a whole bunch of extra words. You say what you want to say with the intention of communicating what you're trying to say. I think all of you can find your own example of that, because more isn't more. No, it's the old adage, I would have written you a short letter, but I didn't have time. It's true. Brevity isn't just the soul of wit, my friends. Brevity and
succinctity. I use charactercounttool.com to count my characters, because LinkedIn, where I post most of my stuff, has a character count limit of 1,300 characters. Some people are trying desperately to fill 1,300 characters, and I'm constantly having to edit back from like 5413 to 1,300. And that takes
right?
Yeah, that's why sometimes I like writing a post, but then I'll post a song, because a song, just like Mark, a poem, can explore one idea in such illustrative depth. That's why we use them in musical theater, because the words aren't enough. So we have to add in music, we have to add in dance, and we have to add in visuals in our communication.
Right.
And I want to underscore too the idea of less in building relationships This week in I Have Something to Say, a workshop I'm only doing once per quarter for 10 people at a time, we talked about the power of sitting in silence with other people and how much trust it shows that you have in that connection and in your own value. If for me, I'm such a talker, if I come to a space and I don't fill it with words, what is the value to other people for my having been there? Something I'm working on myself is having that silence and having that space and asking more questions so that the space in the room is not only filled with my own voice. We've spent 30 minutes where I've heard a lot of myself trying to give you lots of nuggets, but I want to thank you for allowing me the space to do that, to reinforce the value that you have all given me by sitting in silence but engaged. I see your communication. I see all of your words. Sue, I see you reflecting. I even see Pinky, like, oh, that's interesting.
Pinky the cat.
Yeah, Rob Hill is so on me. And I wonder what's happening. He's right here. He's right here. Canberra, all of you are just like right here with me. And so even though you're on mute, I've been able to see so much of who you each are in the way that you listen. So even though this has been mostly about words and choosing them, I want to thank you for communicating with me in silence. How generous of you.
So good, Lila. Let's give her a round of applause. I'm just really
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. That's what you get on the Juice. You get great people like Lila, and you learn different ways of thinking. You connect with different people. You share. I didn't ask any questions. I didn't ask a whole lot of questions for the chat today. And so if you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself. We're going to take a few more minutes. We're going to utilize a few more minutes, invest a few more minutes, and then we're going to sign off, because part of the juice is that we keep it short and sweet. So if you have a question, Neil, I think you just unmuted yourself. So if you got something, let it rip.
I just have a comment, Lila. In your coaching, one thing that I would recommend for your clients is when people say, let me be totally honest with you. And during the conversation, I'm thinking they've been honest with me the whole time. Now they're going to be totally honest. What are we getting at here? Why do people do that to me?
People do that to you because they are preparing you to give them what they need. What they are saying is not that I've not been honest so far, but that I'm about to reveal something that is a step deeper for me. And I need you to be prepared to support me through this. That's what they're saying.
Wow. Great question, Neil. Thank you for asking that. You got any others? That's a goodie. Yeah. Thank you for that. Absolutely.
I love that question. I have to write that down. I'll watch the recording of this.
Yes, yes. Who else has a question or a statement that they hear that they want Lila to unpack today? Anybody else? Feel free to ask, because she's there. Becky, what do you got?
Lila, I appreciate everything you're saying. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I was wondering if there's a way to, if there's people in your life, there are people in my life that I would like to help with how they speak. There's lots of ums and ands and voice trailing off, and people in roles where they need to be more confident. What is some feedback that I could give them that would help them be able to just talk without being so much in their mind?
Great question.
I feel like that's what's happening. Is, in fact, they've told me, I'm just so worried that no one's listening. They don't want to hear me. I'm saying the wrong thing. And so their voice trails off.
I've heard that so many times, and I've allowed my own voice to trail off in moments of uncertainty. There is a program that I run called Never Walk on Stage Like an Apology, which is coming to mind right now, because I think that you can recommend to them that they stop apologizing for being in front of you. You can call out, I'm noticing that you seem to be taking a while to think through your thoughts. And I want to promise you that you have as much time as you need.
Ooh. Oh
when
my
you're
gosh.
sitting with me, I have the next 15 minutes just for you. So there's no rush. Take your time. Think about what you want to say. And know that I'm not here to judge you in any way. I'm only here to listen, help if I can, get some information. And if I have questions to clarify, I will ask them.
This will be on the recording, folks. That was beautiful. Becky, was that helpful? Yeah. Anybody else feel like they could use that lesson right there? Yeah? Yeah, that was fantastic, Lila. Becky, thank you for asking. So true. Anybody else got another one? These are fantastically helpful. Hope.
I do. I think I'm off mute. Okay. I just had this conversation a few minutes ago earlier today with a friend of mine. So I'm going to read to you what she wrote. And she seems to have there's a communication, and maybe it's words too. But what she noticed is that in the Western communication style, we are called the transmitter of orientation. It's the responsibility of the speaker to communicate ideas clearly and unambiguously. If there's a confusion, it's the fault of the speaker using different words. In other cultures, communication is a receiver orientated, and it's up to the listener to make sense of what is being said. And she deals with a multicultural company, and it is very difficult to get the communication across with those two different types of communication structures and words. Have you run across that?
Yes, and there is something you can do about this.
What is it? Like, she needs the help.
The culture where the speakers are responsible for accurate, complete information is also the same one with the most shame and embarrassment and ums and uhs, where we rush through things and fill in with extra, and we feel insecure because we lack transparency. And so encouraging cultures of asking questions, even how I've said on this call now many times, I struggle with this. Let me call it out myself every time I say just. Let me call it out every time I say only. Let me call it out every time I say but. It doesn't, I don't think it in any way delegitimizes my credibility as a communication coach. In fact, I think it shows the ability to be aware. And so demonstrating our own flaws is generous and can make a point for others. So when we are speaking, when we are not sure if a point is landing, we can be the ones to say, not are there any questions about that, but does everyone know what their next steps are?
Oh, that's the word.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Does everyone? Oh, that's the question. Does
everyone know what their next steps are?
Yeah. Because otherwise there's pressure to have the perfect question.
And a lot won't ask the question because they feel that you as the speaker or the communicator are making an error in how you communicate. It's not up to them to decide what you're asking. Okay.
Yes, it's up to you. So if that's true, and it's up to you to make sure that you're communicating clearly, and I think that it is. Make sure that your message is landing by checking in with people.
Thank you, Hope, for asking that. I want to keep building on this. And if you got a jet, my friends.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in for the juice.
All right, good. Anybody else? I want to be totally respectful of your time. Lila's on a roll. This is fantastic. Stay if you can. We'll be here probably till close to the top of the hour. If you have to go, we totally respect that. And this will be on my YouTube channel. Lila might put it on hers too, perhaps.
Love to.
I want to build, okay, yes. I want to build on what Hope asked. what is your unpacking in common parlance, current parlance of, one thing I don't like is when people say blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense? Because I feel like then the person listening to Hope's point is, well, they either say yes or they say no. And if they say yes and they don't understand, if it doesn't make sense to them, they're not going to speak up because they don't want to look silly, foolish, stupid, whatever. And if it does, then, but like, I really struggle with that one. Can you talk a little bit about that one, Lila?
Does that make sense? I think people who ask that are trying to reinforce for themselves that they've done a good job, but it's kind of a blank affirmation. And I mean that, but they're trying to do this, but achieving that.
I feel like there's a better way to ask, like, instead of saying,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Instead of asking, does that make sense? You're not really asking anything.
Right.
So maybe asking a question of a person in particular, you know, I can ask Kimberly, please unmute yourself and join me in this moment.
Okay.
So we've talked about many things, right? And one of those things that we talked about was the yes that you want out of one communication event. Can you think of a clear example that might be coming up for you about a yes that you need from a communication event?
Absolutely, I can. I have a lot of comments actually on some things that you said, but I will just stick to this one. You know, I talk to elderly and their families, so that's what I do. So really it would be, my yes would be letting them feel and see my compassion, and to understand that I'm very true, that I really have a passion for elderly.
Let me ask you why that's important to you.
Oh gosh, if you had someone taking care of your mother that was 92 years old and maybe very confused, I mean, you would definitely want to feel that. You know, you would want to feel that.
And why is it important to you that they feel that? What do you get out of them feeling that way?
Well, because I don't just do this because this is just something that came up. I mean, I do it because I really have a passion for it, and I take a lot of pride in what I do, and I want people to feel that, you know, feel my compassion and know that I'm really going to do the best I can.
Because
and that they can trust me.
What kind of opportunity? When they feel good about how you've made them feel, what's the opportunity for you? And I mean specifically, is it that you get to work with them another day? Is it that they keep you on with their family? Is it that they refer you out to other people? What specifically might that opportunity, that yes, look like for you?
I'm really in some transitioning right now where I'm getting out of what I exactly do with elderly and doing something else with them. But so if I talk about what I'm doing right now, it would be that, number one, that they were very comfortable when they were at home at night sleeping, knowing that their loved one was in good hands, because I have facilities where these elderly people live. And two, if they run across somebody, all my business has been by referrals. You know, they might mention me to someone, but really it's, my goal was always for people to rest well at home and not have to worry about their loved one, not have to worry about the kind of care their loved one was getting. So, you know, and if I know that a family is very comfortable, I've done my job.
Yes. Oh, great. You feel you've been successful and you can check the box. My yes is, I have accomplished this, I have achieved this, and I can put that on my list today of, yes, I've done this well.
Yes.
So you want that feeling for yourself of achievement and accomplishment.
Yes,
and if
absolutely.
they don't feel cared for, that is what you lack.
Yes,
That's the yes that you want.
Well, there's nothing, there's no good feeling in not, or feeling like you didn't do a good job, or that someone's not happy with the service that you offer.
You know what? Some people don't care.
Yeah.
Some people want to get paid and they move along.
Yeah.
You're not happy simply providing surface level service.
Right.
Which speaks to your values and how you feel about the work that you do. A lot of people don't care.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Excellent.
If you're thinking about those referrals and your transition right now, thinking about what the yes is right now might not be the thing. It might be that I'm collecting opportunities for the future. people right now who know me and experience me as an empathetic person who they can entrust their family members with. Those are seeds that I'm planting for something I don't even know I might want to do in the future, right? Whatever that is. It could be a future yes.
Well, I'm right now writing content that helps elderly or families that have elderly loved ones. And so listening to all this, I'm like, gosh, I need to I just did 3 videos that I just had edited. I need to listen to these and make sure I don't have a bunch of these words or things in here.
Don't
But the
overthink
sitting in
it.
silence.
Yeah. Don't overthink it
Right.
too much, Kim, because your heart comes through.
Aw.
And we know, you know this from being in the mastermind together. Get it out there, let it live. And then like Lila teaches, simply start being more aware and growing and improving as you go. We're going to be our own worst critics. We're going to be the one who catches it the most. Just like Becky is, and she's going to battle with just, okay, now she's noticing it and now it's changing. So give yourself that grace, my friend, because you have so much goodness to share. Yes, absolutely. This is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and squeeze the last of the juice here in the next minute. Lila, again, let's do this. I will give a recap after this video will go live or be on my YouTube channel as well as Lila's. Lila, it can be found at saythingsbetter.com. She's got lots of great ongoing workshops, training, teaching. She's so much fun. Like, this is the real Lila. There's no act to this. And go ahead and connect with her. What she shares on LinkedIn is really, a lot of you know that that's one of my primary platform communities, and it's really a great magic way to go there and connect. She is very well connected, also very authentically so. So I'm looking at some of you. I'm not going to actually call some of you out on this one, but I know some of you are in some big transition modes, and this is the perfect time to not just learn how to say things better. It's a perfect time to learn to say things better to better connect. So Lila, we're so glad you're here. Thank you for coming, my friend. I can't wait to circle back with you soon. When I can help you, my friends, squeeze more juice in the connecting, learning why and how better to connect with people authentically, then please reach out. I teach master classes and I speak to groups. There was just I caught that, don't worry. Let me know when I can be of service to you. Let me know how I can help you so we can keep the juice going and growing. Thank you so much, my friends. Go forth, connect, say things better, take good care, and we will see you next month.
Thank you.